Joining us to talk about that and other things happening at the winter meetings in San Diego on the Harbor One hotline, it is Rob Bradford. Good morning, Bradfo.
Let that song breathe. Come on, Greg. I mean, you let songs breathe. Why don't you let my song breathe? What's going on?
Would you like to pick a Christmas rejoin? Everybody's done it in here. I'm happy.
I know. I've been listening. Let me get back to you on that. I've been a little preoccupied here in San Diego, but it doesn't feel like Christmas in San Diego.
Do you have 10 different plugs to pay for this trip, or did the company pay for this trip, or did you get we don't have any money to do anything, but yet you're out in San Diego.
It's everywhere.
Well, let's just say one of the finest companies in the entire country is McFarland. So just thanks to the great friends of McFarland, just for being good friends and being a great company. So there you go.
Okay,
go.
All right.
Good plug.
So you hearing the same thing when it comes to Aaron Judge?
Yeah, Aaron Judge going back to the Yankees, and it's interesting because there's a lot of ways to look at this. Number one, I don't know if you know this, he's going to be really, really rich. So that's number one. But number two is this going to push the other markets? Is this going to push the Bogaerts market? Is this going to be the thing that sort of gets things going a little bit more than it was? But, I think that everyone thought at the beginning of the offseason that Judge was probably going to go back to the Yankees. But as of yesterday, when we heard about Arson Judge, that a lot of people thought he was going to the Giants. But at the end of the day, he just meant too much to the Yankees to let him go.
Rob, the reports are that it was the Giants, the Padres, and the Yankees were the final three that he was choosing between. So are you hearing that the Red Sox didn't try for him or didn't make a good enough effort?
The Red Sox are never going to get Aaron Judge. I mean, there was never, we said this throughout the year, and you were going to hear they're touching base with him. They're kicking the tires. So they do that with almost every free agent. They were never going to allocate that much money because they have Rafael Devers sitting there. They're going to have to pay him about $300 million if they have any chance of keeping him. So it's just, they were never going to get Aaron Judge. The surprise, though, Courtney, was that you had San Diego as sort of the wild card team that no one was talking about. And I think that that's interesting because that shows you, much like they were ready to spend money on Trey Turner, they were ready to spend money on Aaron Judge. Now are they going to be ready to spend money on Xander Bogaerts?
Right. And Bradfo, the interesting question that, is because you try to break all this stuff down is like, what's this guy worth? Xander Bogaerts, right? Is he a guy that's going to be looking for somewhere between $25 and $28 million a year? And then the bigger question that I want to ask, is he worth that?
Yeah, he's worth it. And by the way, you let him get to this market, so shame on you. You let him get to this market, and this is the price you have to pay. Is he worth it? It doesn't matter anymore, Wiggy, if he's worth it. This is what it is. And when you see Trey Turner get 11 years at what he got, when you see Judge, and we see all these guys, people are paying an insane amount of money for free agents. This isn't like a couple years ago. It's completely opposite. Mm-hmm. People are spending money all over the place, and Xander Bogaerts is going to get his money. And when it comes to is it worth it or not, in terms of a big investment for him and going above and beyond what you think that you should pay him, you have to think it is for the same reason the Yankees saw Judge. Because if you lose him, you lose a foundation guy, not only on the field, but off the field. That would be a huge, huge hit. And I think that was a huge part of what the Yankees did when estimating how much Judge is worth.
And do you believe when it comes to reporting that he's told the Red Sox they have essentially a last right to match? Do you buy that?
I think that's the case almost every time. Especially, I think that when you get your offers and you have, say, the Padres and the Dodgers and whoever else involved in Xander Bogaerts, and they're all making offers, and the Cubs, then you're going to all go to all these teams and say, all right, this is what we have, and are you ready to go above and beyond what's your final and best? I think and Xander would never. He likes it enough in Boston. He respects the people enough in Boston that he would just never run away from the organization. But I'll say it again. I mean, there's no way around this. They misread this thing. I mean, they botched this because I would love.
They don't. I don't think that they want him. I mean, if you wanted him, you'd get a deal done during the season. To act like they don't understand that the free agent market is going to demand that he be paid. Like, they know exactly what he can go out and get. they signed Story essentially, so they have somebody else to play the position. I just don't. I understand that you think they botched it, but it seems ridiculous.
Okay, so I would normally agree with you because I've seen this way too many times. Where you say, no, we're keeping in touch. Look at Kyle Schwarber last year. Well, if you really wanted him, you would have paid. This is what the Red Sox always did. But here's the difference with the Xander situation, which is bizarre to me. When you come out at the beginning of the offseason and you say, this is our plan A. This is our plan A. This is our top priority. You never heard the Red Sox say that. Forget about what Dave Dombrowski, no matter Chaim Bloom, this ownership. And when it comes to the Red Sox and this ownership group, every single time when there is a plan A, they usually are going to get them. So you can't really say this is our plan A, this is our be-all, end-all, and do sort of a half-ass way of looking at it, of offering it. You can't do that. It's just because it's going to come out. You talk about a guy leaving. Well, that doubles the amount of damage that it does to the organization when you say this is plan A and you let him leave without giving a representative offer. I think they actually do want him. Now we're just going to find out how much.
Now, Bradford, is it pretty much then basically nail in the coffin, and is that because of Trey Turner and the deal that he was basically offered? And how old is Xander Bogaerts? What's he, 29?
He's 30.
No, he's
30. So when you look at him getting an 11-year deal and Xander now sees that, do you think it's pretty much nail in the coffin? Because I was just looking at the Padres offered more money, and he turned that down. So you know that they're in the market for a shortstop. So is it pretty much see you later, Xander? Because the money's going to be too expensive?
I mean, I don't buy into the stuff that has been going on all week about, the Red Sox, they're not in, they're not putting their best. Let's just wait on that because I'll come back to what I said. I think that these are smart people who can't be dumb enough to say that we are not going to give a representative offer at the end of the day for the guy that we are saying is absolutely our priority. Now, will it get too uncomfortable for them? Maybe, because Trey Turner is just slightly younger than Xander Bogaerts. And as you said, he got 11 years. Is Xander going to get 11 years? No. But is he going to get, a lot more than we thought he was at the beginning of the year? Absolutely. I mean, this is the world of free agency.
Rob, Chaim said that they were going to try to make a run at Christian Vasqueze. Do you see a reunion happening there?
No, I think less than 50%. I think there's just too many other options, and I think probably it comes back to the whole free agency thing, where there's a lot of teams that need catchers, and Vasquez is one of the better ones on the market. He had a pretty good postseason, so as much as the Red Sox like Christian Vasquez, I don't think they're going to overpay for a position that they feel like they could go into this year right now and be okay with. I know that everybody likes the idea, especially Christian Vasquez. I would be surprised, though, even though that was a pretty definitive answer when he was asked about it. He said, "Are you interested?" He just said yes.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't understand why they keep doing this. They're losing the fan base because it feels like everything they say we can't take them at their word.
Yeah, well, it goes back to when the whole season was rolling out and the perception of the Red Sox. And I kind of said this to people in the organization. They were like, "What?" They were wondering, "Well, why?" As everyone say, "We're not spending money. We didn't spend money. We've always spent money." I said the perception of the organization in the industry isn't that you're not going to spend money, but that you're lowballing everybody. And you can set your value and you can set your worth on these guys, but when you get into free agency, you can't. You have to go above and beyond. That's just the reality, especially of this free agency. So I don't know if they've got their head around this. And I will say this, is that there's been a couple instances where, you look at Heaney, who signed with the Rangers, they offered more money to him. They offered more years to him, but he wanted to go to Texas. This is whatever they came to San Diego to do, I don't think is breaking the way that they want. But you know what? 24 hours from now, maybe it's different.
Well, I mean, it's like there's 5 different holes in the ship, and they're not sticking their fingers in any of them. I mean, what about starters? I'm guessing they weren't in on Verlander. Are you hearing anything about how they're going to address that need?
Well, when you say that, Greg, all I can think of is that commercial where the guy has the glue and he is floating in the river and it's putting glue together with all. And we'll be fine. We'll be fine. There's no leaks. But oh man, I wish that was such a great commercial. But anyway, we looked at. He said the other day, he said we need 7 or 9 players, and we're gonna get 7 or 9 players. But you need to start getting these players. And I'll say it again. I'm not going to jump into this sort of the Red Sox are going to be terrible and they're not going to do anything. So there's still a long ways to go. But I will say this. If they miss out on the big-ticket items that they need, and that includes, by the way, they want a top-of-the-rotation guy, and so I think that's probably going to come in a trade. But if they keep missing out on these guys, then there's just simply not going to be you can't keep going to plan C and D all the time.
Bradford, is there any chance, because you said big ticket, is there any chance that they would be in on Carlos Correa? And if you had to choose, because if Xander does see the Trey Turner money, and he's only a year younger than him, it's not like he's significantly younger than him, if he sees the money and length of contract that's out there, if you're the Red Sox, do you lean more towards the younger Correa and saying, all right, we'll give that guy a $300+ million deal, or do we give Xander something close to that because he's going to want that type of deal? What do you do in this situation?
Well, first of all, it's an excellent question, Wiggy, and I say that because I know that you have to get one of those in every interview. Yes. An excellent question, Wiggy. But I think that with Correa, Correa is going to cost you a lot more money. If you just said, who do you want to anybody, and just as the player, the player on the field player, yeah, Correa is younger. He's probably has more upside than Xander, but that's not what we're talking about. So I'll come back to the whole Plan A comment. It's bizarre to me. That comment was so strange because when you say that, all of a sudden you say, all right, he's Plan A, and even if we get Carlos Correa, he was paying Plan B. We paid more money for Plan B. It is such a bizarre comment, which I just think was so misguided at the time.
Are Sam and Haim staying at the Major League Baseball hotel, or are they at the Holiday Inn? Are they?
I don't know. I'm staying about 2 miles away, and I walk here, and I did walk by some people with blankets over them, so I don't know. San Diego's a weird place.
Well, it's a great city. What are you talking about?
No, I'm not saying it's not great. It's just very, very different. I mean, I feel like as a correspondent for the show, I'm not doing due diligence if I don't take the time to go to Tijuana before I leave. Right? Correct.
You're on the left coast, man. It's completely different out there.
That's what Wiggy would do. Yeah. Wiggy would make a little trip over the border.
Get you some of that Cali Kush, man. They got the best. They got
the lemon pepper wings in Tijuana are off the hook, right, Wiggy?
They got the best Kush in the country. Get you some of that Cali bud.
Also, is Heyman just trolling us now on social media after the arson judge? And now he said he meant to say one of the best and said one of the hest. And then you've got Nightingale tweeting about Aaron Judge, but saying Stanton by accident. It's all over the place.
I think that everyone is in such a rush. I think it's just a complete waste of time, to be honest with you, because, it's great. This is what a lot of people are paid to do, but I think that people are in such a rush, and it's just, that's why you get these tweets. That's why you get a lot of the misinformation. That's why you get listen, there's someone who misspells stuff all the time. I'm not going to say misspellings, but that's why you're getting a lot of stuff. Everyone's running around this hotel with their hair on fire and thinking, I want to be first. I want to be first. I mean, this is the same hotel I remember back in 2014. I was doing the same thing with John Lester. When John Lester was signing with the Cubs, same exact hotel and having that same feeling. Fortunately, we don't have to chase around Aaron Judge this morning.
All right, Bradford in San Diego awaiting a Red Sox splash.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's go. You don't sound as excited as I do, Greg.
Well, it doesn't matter what I think. It's what the fans think.
Well, I'll tell you that
if they don't, I'm telling you right now, they can't expect to run it back with Jarren Duran and have the interest that they have had previously. I can't.
Yeah, I come back to it is that I agree with you, but I just don't think that they're they're that misguided that they think that they cannot do anything. And they have to do something. I mean, because if it's not only on the field, as you guys know, it's off the field. It's all of this stuff.
Right.
And that's why you have to change that narrative. And I do think that it's still kind of early. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. But I do think it's going to be, today is going to be, once we get the Judge thing going, now I think it's going to push the Bogaerts thing a little bit more.
All right.
Break it. I'm telling you, this is how they change the narrative, and don't be surprised. They're going to sign Correa. That changes the narrative of everything.
It does. All right.
I tell you what, Wiggy, a triple XL baseballs and boring T-shirts on the way. If that's true. All right, there you go.
All right. Well, when the news breaks, Bradford will have it here at WEEI, or
there
somebody else.
Unless I'm on a plane or in Tijuana.
Right. Yeah. Unless you're in
Tijuana. We do not. The spending only goes so far, and the international calling plan is not part of the deal. So.
All right, Rob. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Rob Bradford on the Harbor One hotline.